The name itself signifies on our side helping ideas, so obviously the born part, into reality, the branded element for success. Extracting what their ideas and their concepts into, thousands of lines of code. I'd be working with many senior leadership directors across the world in leading consumer goods companies from Coca-Cola to PepsiCo and so on and so forth. And then in the evening, I then spend, I'd say 2-3 hours after dinner, really going into detail about generative AI, teaching myself to code, becoming a full stack engineer where I am today, and really understanding, the detail of what it takes to build something. I started from just an idea, just a simple prompt, and then I kind of shelved that. And now we're at a point where Gary itself has been trained on well over 500 pages of leading sales negotiation tactics. It's also web connected and it helps a lot of different people in different stages they're at.
Welcome to the Afluencer podcast. We've got Noah Santoni with us today. He is the founder and CEO of Born and Brand. Noah left a six-figure job to start his company, so we're excited to talk to him about that, his experience, also his collab opportunity that he has for potential influencers to work with Born and Brand. So Noah, welcome. Let's start with the name. What does the name of the company signify?
Yep. So the name itself signifies on our side helping ideas, so obviously the born part, into reality, the branded element for success. It's simple as that. Yeah, and the backdrop of the name to an extent was I had to think of something that was relevant to what we do with our clients and service with our clients, which is, really extracting what their ideas and their concepts into, thousands of lines of code.
What was the moment you had the day job, you're getting paid well, that you decided you wanted to leave to chase this dream, start your own company?
Yep. So it's an interesting story. I've been, in the generative AI space for now, I'd say 3 years. And I left my, very decent job about 4 months ago, I'd say October, 4 or 5 months ago. Yep. And the key part of that was it got to a point where it was 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. I'd be working with many senior leadership directors across the world in leading consumer goods companies from, Coca-Cola to name a few other ones, PepsiCo and so on and so forth. And then in the evening, I then spend, I'd say 2-3 hours after dinner, really going into detail about generative AI, teaching myself to code, becoming a full stack engineer where I am today, and really understanding, the detail of what it takes to build something. And then I got to a point where I was like, well, do I just shelf these skills that aren't really relevant in my corporate enterprise sales role? Or do I make something out of it? And do I build and deliver solutions to other people and really, advertise and productize what I know and my skills and my knowledge? And that's when I made the decision.
Very cool. So you created Gary AI Bot. So it's an AI sales tool, which of course is kind of the dream, not having to have human salespeople, which, I've been one myself before. I've hired human salespeople. That's always kind of been my goal with my own companies is how can we automate this out? So talk about Gary AI Bot. What makes it unique, different to maybe other tools on the market today?
Yep. So some context about Gary. I used to be a development coach for a leading AI community. There was like 20,000 to 50,000 members in that community when it really kicked off. And part of that, I was running some back then prompt engineer courses, how to really explain what you want and the best outputs from these large language models, these AI products. And through that, I really understood that the major issue and the major bottleneck is people not really understanding how to speak to these AI models and how to really define what they want out of them. So I started from just an idea, just a simple prompt, and then I kind of shelved that. And then from the skills I acquired and I developed further, I started to really pick up different people around the world and different people in my community. So I run a community of 250 startup and developers and people who are very technical effectively. And the majority of them really struggled when it came to sales and marketing problems. And I started to get busier and busier with my agency. So I thought to myself, well, the simplest way to handle all of this is if I built an AI bot that can really help them and service them on the majority of the challenges and issues they have. And the questions most of the time was things like, well, I have this client and I'm trying to close them, but I don't know what to charge. Or another simple one that I thought was simple coming from the sales world. Obviously, I'm in a unique position where I'm coming from the other side rather than developing first and then trying to sell. Was another common one was, well, there's this opportunity, but how do I respond to this email? And so these simple things started to, in an extent, snowball. And then I built this bot in the community, and the community was quite excited. There was really positive feedback from the bot that was built to service the community. And then I got a message from one of the community members, and she turned around to me and she was like, Noah, your bot actually helped me land a deal. And that's when I was like, okay, I've got something. and my ears pricked up a bit. I was like, okay, maybe I might have something. And that's when I really doubled down. And now we're at a point where Gary itself has been trained on well over 500 pages of leading sales negotiation tactics. I've put in everything that I know, BANT, MEDDIC, MEDPIC, all the forms of negotiation into it, and it just flies. It's also web connected, and it helps a lot of different people in different stages they're at. And yeah, I just keep iterating with that. I've made it quite, I'd say, budget friendly from that side. And that was the whole point of Gary. It was just to help the community out in a skill that they lacked.
Yeah, it's a very cool story. How are you going about getting Gary out there? What marketing channels are working well for you? I know it's always, there's that aha moment. Hey, I've got something, right? I've solved the problem. I solved the pain point. And as an entrepreneur, that's fantastic. It's as good as it gets, right? That feeling. Yep. And then you look around, you're like, oh, now I have to scale this model and get Gary out there. So what have you been doing so far on that front? What's been working for you?
So what I've been doing so far is, as weird as it sounds and as cringy as it is, I've been asking Gary that question. Obviously, I don't have so much of an extent of a personal brand, not yet. If I've only just been kind of doing this publicly out there for 4 months, and in the past, I've just been, in my opinion, in the dark and doing its things in the night. My joke is, in the nighttime, I was Batman. In the daytime, I was Bruce Wayne. So I obviously have my personal brand in the development world, but from a client-facing side, there's the challenge. And to really get Gary out there, I think the goal has been to understand and define a bit more of, rather than me solidifying my brand exposure at this such an early stage, what can I do to amplify that and, almost find like-minded individuals that understand the vision, that want to really push further. And that's where I actually stumbled across yourselves at Afluencer. And I was like, okay, well, where can I go that can connect me with the right people I need to do this, task or this profile to work better? And so that's my plan. But obviously the ICP, the ideal customer profile of Gary, is anybody that is coming from an idea that wants to convert to a business opportunity, or anyone that struggles from a sales perspective, and also a bit of a marketing perspective as well, but mainly sales. And so from that, I've been pushing a bit on Reddit. I've been pushing a bit on some communities that I'm part of in the development spaces. And that's as far as I've gone at this stage. It's very early. And I've also built a mini, I'd say, freemium tool where it's about, in less than 10 seconds, you get a full idea solution. And I call it the Gary Ideator as well.
Very cool. We're excited to be a part of Gary's repertoire in terms of solutions that he can recommend. That is awesome. How are you thinking about influencers today in terms of the collab that you have with us, influencers and partners? What's going on there?
From an influencer perspective, as I said, I'm fairly new to the world. I think navigating your platform and the way that you convey the message of what you can do and the outcomes that you can, get out of this has really helped me and has really, in my opinion, enforced the importance of that I need to do this and I need to put myself out there a bit more. Now, why, in my opinion, Afluencer is because I had 2 choices. Either I go the route of speaking to a company that represents 500 or 5,000 influencers and charges me a price or a fee, or I've got the ability to connect with the right people in this matching program. That's what I liked about that. I liked the element of the choice that I preferred more before I really go shopping.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, makes sense. What are your goals for your influencer work here in terms of what are you having them do? Are you having them do videos, reels? Are we looking for kind of get awareness about Gary, or are you looking for hard leads? What are your thoughts there in terms of the?
So the first Collab Connect, I believe you called it. I apologize if I made a mistake on the terms there. The first one I made a post about was specifically actually for our agency, our development agency. So Gary, I built out of an example of what we can build, and more importantly, helping people, right? And so I made a post about our development agency, and I've started to see a quite interest there. And I've done a deal where it's, I believe, a commission rate and also a paid per video to talk about our agency. And what makes our agency, in my opinion, stand out more than I say the others that are out there is me being a full stack engineer and a developer that I've self-taught myself, and the rest of my team, where we are quite, I'd say, AI open-minded, where we're using these AI tools to help us and alleviate and speed up the process without impacting quality. So our average build at the moment for a full stack application is, I'd say, 7 weeks, which is unheard of compared to 6 to 9 months. And we're talking from, landing page to intro to payment integrations to databases to everything. And we can cater to that because our clients are quite open to see that we are using AI through the process.
We go into your crystal ball here, Noah, and look out. We've talked about sales, but we've also kind of hinted at marketing, right? You're using Gary to kind of generate ideas on your marketing plan. Is that something that you envision going forward, that not only a potential sales tool here, but also sales and marketing, which is almost kind of an endless problem? I see you starting with the sales negotiations and you've loaded all that in, but this seems like it's almost endless in terms of the possibilities, right, on the lead generation marketing front.
Yeah, so my first step into this world was creating that form of funnel process with the ideator, the Gary ideator. So I launched the Gary ideator, and in less than, I believe the stats were in less than 2 days, I had like 20 to 50 requests on the ideator that were running. And I believe in the first 3 hours, I had like 10 requests. So I think it does have legs from a marketing standpoint. And I did also implement a share on LinkedIn so people can actually share their idea to their communities on LinkedIn, powered by Gary. But from a marketing front, obviously there's a lot for me to learn. And I'll be completely transparent. It's something that I'm still working on. And I believe the whole influencer element is a piece of the puzzle, but it's always great to, speak to other people and network. And it helps that obviously we got to know each other. I've now learned a bit more of what you do at Afluencer. And also, I think it's important sometimes to also reflect and accept where your strengths are and where you believe you could do better. And that's something that I'm always looking to develop better.
Very cool. Noah Santoni with Born and Brand, and Gary is the tool to watch out for here on the AI side, helping with the sales and someday the marketing end also. Noah, how can people find and follow Born and Brand online?
So to find and follow us, we have our website. So I can obviously send you the link later. And then to follow, I'm on X, formerly, or Twitter, however people want to call it now. I'm also on LinkedIn. And I also present at public speaking events, mainly in London. So my next one is next Wednesday, actually.
Great. Very cool. Yeah, we will get those links from you. And for people watching this, those will be in the show notes right below. So we'll make it really easy. You just look down. I have all those good links for you to follow Born and Brand and Noah's Talks. Noah, thanks so much. It's been a great conversation.
Thanks, bro.